Autumn Best was working at a coffee shop in Chicago where she got an email offering her the opportunity to audition for Anna Kendrick's directorial debut Woman of the Hour. The movie is the true story of serial killer and rapist Rodney Alcala, who appeared on The Dating Game in 1978 and charmed contestant Cheryl Bradshaw, Kendrick, into picking him. The action flashes from the game to the horrific crimes Alcala committed before and after his TV appearance. Best 22, whose only other professional screen credits were several episodes of the CW's sci-fi series 4400, didn't think she had a chance in landing a role as one of Alcala's would-be victims. Every time I get an audition that's for a biopic-type movie or something that's based off of real life, I always kind of write off quickly because I only have one hand, says Best, who was born with just a thumb on her left hand. And it's not very often that you see people with disabilities cast in roles that are real people that don't have disabilities. Just doesn't happen very often. Adds the St. George, Utah native, she auditioned anyway. Then she got a callback and an offer to have a Zoom meeting with Pitch Perfect star-turned-director Kendrick. I was just so honored that Anna even wanted to meet me, and she just talked me through the character, and she told me what she liked about my interpretation of the character, says Best. She was back working at the coffee shop, a gig she likes to satisfy her cravings for cold brew, when she got the call that Kendrick had cast her. I was like, who, me? Really? That's crazy. And I was just so excited and surprised. Best was even more excited and surprised when she got to the set in Canada. Anna was just so welcoming and informative and just willing to teach me and actually be a mentor for me, and that was really a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, continues Best. In one scene, her character smokes a cigarette, but Best, who was raised Mormon, had no idea what to do. I've never even seen someone smoke a cigarette because I grew up in Utah, she says. I was so stressed. Then when they brought me the prop cigarettes, I was trying to play it cool that I knew what I was doing, and I started to smoke it. And I was like, I'm sorry guys, we got to cut. I was like, I don't even know which end of the cigarette to light, she recalls. I'm about to put it in my mouth to light it, and I only have one hand. And I'd only ever seen in movies when people put the cigarette in their mouth and then light it with one hand. And I was like, I can't quite figure it out. I didn't know you could just put it in your mouth and light it, adds Best. Anna was dying and she came up to me and she lit the cigarette for me sitting under the stairwell, and she was just like, never changed, says Best. The actress, who began performing in theater as a young kid, planned to study theater at New York University, but was cast in 4400. She moved to Chicago to film the summer after she gave the valedictory speech at her high school. Navigating show business over these past few years has been a delicate dance for Best, who identifies as queer and came out publicly on Instagram in 2022. She said she used to have moments where she'd wonder if she should edit herself. Am I being too queer? Am I going to wear a dress or am I going to wear pants? She says. But now she's content to be herself. I just gave up thinking too hard about it. I was like, you know what? I'm going to be who I am, and the people that want to work with me, like Anna and the beautiful people that I've worked with, are going to love me for who I am. And anyone else who doesn't want to work with me, I don't care to work with anyway. Growing up in the Mormon church, I really had to learn to stick with the people who stuck by me, says Best. And I just don't really have time to edit myself to make people feel more comfortable. Woman of the Hour is in select theaters now and streaming on Netflix.